Good morning, everyone. Dr. Bill here. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today I'm on my next to last training hike. My rim to river to rim hike is scheduled for 10 days from today. So I'm probably going to do one more hike, I'm guessing, in about 4 days. Today's hike should be a distance, I'm thinking of somewhere between 13 and 14 miles. I'm actually going to be hiking on a trail I've never hiked before, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like. But there is a new wrinkle in my plan. I'm using my 3-axis gimbal, still getting used to it, but there's a new wrinkle in my plan to hike the Grand Canyon. And again, before I go into the issue, let me say that my concerns are completely insignificant compared to the people who have lost their home and their properties and have had their safety compromised. But as of today, 10 days out from the hike, there are 3 major uncontrolled wildfires burning in Southern California. And the problem is that these fires are pumping out massive amounts of smoke. We had a smoke day here 3 days ago where the visibility dropped down to a half a mile. You guys might remember my video a few weeks ago where on an average day I can see mountains 40 miles away on my deck. And yeah, the visibility dropped down to half a mile. The smoke was so thick. I had to spend the whole day in the house. And the concern now is that these fires are pumping significant amounts of smoke into the Grand Canyon. And I simply won't do the hike if I'm going to have to hike in really heavy, smoky weather. So I'm not sure where that leaves me. I'm watching the smoke reports every day, and they're looking at very heavy smoke in that area of northern Arizona. And any wind that's easterly or northeasterly simply blows the smoke towards Vegas and then over to the Grand Canyon. So we'll have to see what happens. You guys may remember from my video about a year ago that I had something of a cancer scare, and and as a result I had half of or a third of my the top of my right lung amputated. And so, you know, I'm just not in a place where I'm willing to take that risk if the smoke is that bad. By the way, I did not have cancer. It turned out to be a very pernicious infection. But when they did the MRI, they had that shadow on my lung, so they went in and took it out. But yeah, it's just put me in a place where I have to be somewhat careful of my lungs. And I mean, it's been exciting that I have been doing all this great hiking, but I'm just not willing to take on that hike if the smoke is going to be that bad. So we'll have to see what the plan is. Today, I'm going to try and keep this video somewhat short, and so I'll stop it here as I am hiking. If I see something interesting, I'll turn the video on. Otherwise, I'll check in with you when I get back to my Jeep. But as I said, with this new trail, I think it'll come out to be somewhere between 13 and 14 miles. And then I'm planning probably a 12-mile hike in about 3 or 4 days. Then I'll give myself a week's rest so my legs are really fresh when I get to the Grand Canyon if I make that trip. And can get the job done. I'm really looking forward to the hike. I have to be honest, I am a little bit discouraged today because, as you all know, if you've been watching my videos over the summer, I have trained really hard for this hike. and it would be painful if it turned out to be all for naught. But we still got a few days. What would really help is if we could get a rainstorm to come in through Southern California and help the firefighters. But at least the long-range forecasts are not predicting any rain. Okay, well listen. Again, if I see something interesting, I'll turn on the camera. Otherwise, I will. At this point, I am probably about 7 miles from my Jeep, and so I'll turn off my camera and pick it up down at the bottom of the hike. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me on this hike today. It turns out I told you I was hiking some new trails, and I made a wrong turn, and this hike's going to be a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I had thought somewhere between 13 and 14 miles. Looks like it's going to be about 14 and a half miles, maybe between 14 and a half and 14 and 3/4. But it was a good hike, a beautiful hike today. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the firefighters will do a great job containing those fires, and I'll be able to make the hike. And again, thank you for joining me on this hike, and I will see you on the trail.